Alright guys, so welcome to today's tutorial. In today's tutorial, we will just quickly create the second stage of the observation haki I was talking about in the last video. Last observation haki video, of course. So the second stage right here is going to be that you're able to look through walls. So when we pretend that this wall right here is an obstacle, then we would be able, when we would stand right here, to see the zombie right here, okay? So that's the type of observation haki we're now going to do. And import the observation Haki model. So we have it right here. Observation dodge. Yeah. Let me copy this. Let me put it inside of here. And yeah. Now instead of having only dodge on, we can also do observation on and also observation off. So this observation task right here, it is going to be that we are able to look for walls. But let's go inside of observation server right here. And yeah, so else if what, observation on, then. So if this observation right here is supposed to be on, then we want all of the obstacles right here to turn transparent and the character models right here to stay not transparent. So how do we do that? We of course have to wait. Let me just quickly get out all of these here. Okay, so we have to loop through the workspace. Okay, so that's pretty obvious, and we have to get the sentence to actually loop through everything we have right here. So now we need to set requirements for an obstacle. So maybe to make things easier, to have a better understanding of how these requirements could look like, we should define what we should define which instances we do not want to be affected by this. Means those character models, of course. So we should define how a character model looks like. So a character model contains... the character model consists of the model itself, and also of all of the body parts, which are mesh parts, or even parts when you use R6, for example. And yeah, so we do not want those parts to be affected by this observation thing. So first of all, if V is a part or V is a mesh part, that's the first thing. So if those two requirements are given or true, then we have the case that we are referring to something which could be an obstacle, but which also could be a body part. And to really make sure that we are not dealing with a body part right here, we have to see where this part right here is inside of. So if the part, for example, is inside of a character model, then we do not want this to be affected. So if the parent, no, if not the parent is a model, then. So that's when how you make sure that the part and the mesh part, which could be possible body parts, are not inside of a character model. This method right here has one disadvantage. Let me just quickly show you what this disadvantage could be. So when we take a look at our character model, then you'll see all of these, okay? So they have this character model as a parent. But now, if you take a look at, for example, another part, which is inside of an instance, which is a direct child of the part of this character model, then you'll see that this part, for example, is also a mesh part, is also inside of the character model, but it is not a direct parent right here, which leads this check right here to be unfulfilled. Also, that's a problem right here. But there is also a solution for this. So instead of using this, we could use find first ancestor is a model. Wait, find first ancestor, which is a. So what this does is it basically starts off with, wait, let me pretend that this is our character and that this right here is, no, wait, bad example. Bad example. Let me use this gear 5. So gear 5 is our character. No, bad example as well. Let me actually test this out and let me show you what I'm talking about, or what this does. So find first ancestor, which is a, so this function, that's the name of the function. It basically starts off right here, and it works all the way up till it finds the given class right here. So the class name is model. So it works all the way up till it finds it. Okay, that's basically how this works. And this bypasses the problem I was talking about, that this character model is not the direct parent of this handle right here, which is responsible for the head. You know, so that's basically what happens right here. So if those things are given, then we want the transparency to be at. What happens when we change this actually? Reflectance. Okay, let's see what happens when we do it this way. This is quite interesting. This is quite interesting. Okay, so the thing with this is that, wait, I'm too dumb. So the problem is that we have made this server-sided, but we do not want this to be server-sided. You know, so server-sided means in this case that for every player, the map would look like it just looked like, you know, so like this. So if we like do this, then this appearance of the map would be for everyone. But we do not want this to happen, so we only want this to be within our perception. So what we have to do is that we actually have to get rid of these and do it this way, so server-sided, client-sided. So we can actually delete this one, do it this way. Let me turn this up to maybe 0.9. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so this is basically it for turning all of these parts transparent. But we now have to revert them, of course. And that's the point where things get a little bit more complicated. So the problem, wait, no. Let me just demonstrate this. So what we could possibly do is that we just copy this and then just revert everything. So transparency 0, reflectance 0. So we could do that, of course, and it would work for most of the things right here. But let me give an example later, which will cause problems. So as you can see, this works fine, okay? So no problem. Everything works fine right here. So let me actually lower this transparency a little, because that's too much. So the problem now comes when, wait, let me actually make this a big wall. Let me put this right here. So let me create another wall, and let me make this wall a little transparent. So for example, 0.5. So as you can see, this has the transparency 0.5. Now, when we do this and revert later on, means we unequip this, then we want this wall still to be at transparency 0.5. But as you can see, this is not the case, and now it is fully visible to us. And that's the problem I'm trying to point out when we just do it this way. So we of course have the same problem for this reflectance right here, but I don't think that any games use reflectance anymore. I'm not sure. I could be wrong because I personally do not use it. But if there are any games out there who use it, then yeah, just do it the way we're now going to do with the transparency. So in order to be able to find out what the former transparency does, we have to store the former transparency. So how can we do that? Well, I could think of this method. It could be, well, it could be considered as bad practice, because we are creating an instance inside of another instance, and the creation of this new instance could cause performance issues. I don't know. I don't care, to be honest, because I don't think that the issue right there is that much. So what we're doing is that, wait, no. So as for now, we are creating a int value inside of every part or mesh part which is affected by this, and we are storing the former transparency. Now, the problem with this is that we are doing it for every part or mesh part which is affected. And there are mesh parts and parts, or let's say the majority of parts and mesh parts are at transparency 0 anyways. So there is no need to store the former transparency, you know, so because all of the transparencies are like set to 0 by default. So what we can do instead is that we check whether the transparency of the part is not 0. And if that is the case, then we want to store this unique transparency. Okay. And down here, we can check for this int value. So if the find first child transparency, then the transparency equals this value's value. And if there is no transparency value inside, then we want the transparency to be 0 by default. Now, if your game uses reflectance, then you could also create another int value for this reflectance right here, which stores the reflectance, and then you just do the same check up here, but just for the reflectance, and that's it. And of course, do not forget to destroy the value afterwards, after, no, not v, but the value right here, after you have used it. And that's it. So that's how you do it. And as I've told you, so some of the pro scripters out here, they could argue that, well, you're creating an instance inside of every part or mesh part which is not transparency 0, and this causes a lot of performance issues. Well, yeah, you could argue it. Then do not use a system. Oh, wait. The problem is that I'm dumb. So instead of using an int value, use a number value. Because int values, they are only able to store integer values, means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So no decimal numbers. And the problem with transparencies is that they are decimal numbers. As you can see, this works. This works. Let me just quickly do it for the reflectance as well, because I don't want you guys to do it by yourself. So if reflectance does not equal 0, then we want to create a number value once again. And we want to do this check for the reflectance as well. So we can get rid of this one. And that's it, guys. Now let me create a part or a wall right here, which has reflectance, I don't know, 0.5 maybe, which has transparency 0.2. Let me create another wall which is going to be right here, which is going to have maybe this as reflectance, so that we actually can test out all of the cases right here. So now this should work out. So wait, so what was this way before? I don't know. Let's check out. Yeah, okay, it was. Now you can literally see all of the values right here being created inside of it. Yeah, pretty cool. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. If so, leave a like, subscribe, share this video to all your friends, leave me feedback in the comment section guys. Take care and see you in the next video.